This week's episode of One of a Kind with RVD is presented by FanDuel and NFL. It's about to kick off. And why not get an early jump on the futures bets? You know, who's going to win the Super Bowl, huh? Why not do that all the way in August? Well, you can get some value at this point, I think, with the Kansas City Chiefs. All right, Patrick Mahomes, he was out for the rest of the year last season after that bad leg injury. Well, now he's back. And you know what? I think they'll probably have a chip on their shoulders, Kansas City Chiefs. You can get them right now at plus 1,700 right now on FanDuel.
Rob Van Dam! Rob Van Dam! Rob Van Dam! I'm Rob Van Dam. The whole show.
From Apple Creek, Michigan, weighing 230 pounds.
That will be RVD. It's not yet, though. That's right. Rob is here. He is getting something. But you're stuck with me right now on a Thursday, live on RVDTV.com. It's trash night. It is. And look who's here. I hear footsteps. I think I hear something. But he will be coming. There he is. Yeah.
Hey, you cleared up.
Now I'm clear. Hey, how about that? How about that? Just in time. How are you, Rob?
Blowed up.
Are you blowed up?
Ooh. I am well. How are you, sir?
I am doing good. Doing very good as well. Yes, it's good to be here. A lot of people already saying they're lighting up already, Rob. So they're ahead of
lighting up, dude. Yeah, let's do it. I actually have one from earlier that's flirting with me from the ashtray that's not quite smoked yet. So that's a good idea. Let's go ahead and spark it up.
Do it. Yes, I'm trying to find it. There's a lot. Oh, yes, Zach. Zach Rarick says, "You are the sickest wrestler ever, Rob. I love you, and I'm also blazed as hell higher." So he's
also what? Oh, blazed as hell.
John Boy might be smoking.
I'll be back, Jack. Appreciate the Van Dam fam tuning in. You know, I still don't know. As long as we've been doing this show, I don't know if it's better for everyone if we do it on certain days or certain times or whatever. The Van Dam fam just always seems to find us, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that because we like to be on the move and keep you guessing.
That's right. We move it and shake it a lot. We don't adhere to the schedules sometimes. It's not our bag sometimes. So, oh yes, Raccoon. He also says Raccoon 9999 says I'm higher than a kite. So he's already smoking too. So we got some.
That is pretty high. By the way, like if you think about it, people use that expression just because somebody said it at some point in time and it caught on. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so people say that dude, I'm high as a kite. But if you think about it, it could have just as easily been, you know, like what if somebody instead said, man, I'm higher than a skyscraper, or I'm higher than a tall building. Like that'd be what we would say. We'd go around like, whoa, dude, I'm taller than Mount Everest. You know what I mean? Could have been anything.
I'm higher than a giraffe's pussy.
There you go. Which, by the way, where did you hear that?
Wasn't MVP
Bruce
said
Jingles?
it?
Bruce Jingles?
Oh, didn't MVP say it on the show?
Somebody said it. Maybe.
I think it was MVP.
And I thought I saw it on Instagram somewhere. I can't remember where, but Bruce Jingles has used that as part of his routine on stage like forever, and like I heard someone else say it, and then I was like, oh, you didn't make that shit up.
No,
I've been saying it since 1984 or some shit, you know. I don't know.
Yes, so
I'm higher than the 14th floor of an apartment building. Could have been anything. Could have been anything.
People are chiming in with their own right now. They say I'm
higher than an airplane.
What I'm higher than the Burj Khalifa.
A hot air balloon. Why a kite? Like, what is it about a kite? Cause I remember I used to play with the kite when I was a kid, and I got a bunch of strings and tied them together and shit. And I remember they come in like 200-foot spools and shit. And then I had it like well over 1,000 feet, so you could barely see a little dot like way up there. And I thought, man, I wonder if airplanes can see this and shit. It was so cool. Had it wrapped around this fucking pipe, the string, and had it way up there. But I wonder why people decide, to use that as a comparison of just how medicated they are. They could have said, man, you know what? I'm higher than a cloud. People be like, what? I'm higher than a cloud. A cloud? A cloud. Okay. I got you, bro. I got you. I mean, it's easy to see what you mean, but it just ain't smooth.
Ain't smooth. Do people fly kites anymore? As kids, I flew a kite as a kid. I don't know if people fly kites anymore. Is that like still a thing?
Got replaced with drones.
Maybe. I don't know.
Now you don't need a fucking string, and you can fucking tell it, hey, on your way back, go down over the neighbor's house and give me a picture of the neighbor girl's titties laying out by her pool, and stop by and grab some money from the next neighbor.
Yeah, you couldn't do that with a kite back in the day. Check out the girl's titties, sunbathing or something. Nope, not on those kites. Maddie, a member for 13 months. Thank you, Maddie. He says, sparking a big sesh for the whole effing show. RVD and Domhausen, bro. Gem the Dawn, Frankie, and Triple E. Let's smoke some effing green. Higher than a drass pussy. He says it in emoji style. So,
it is a hell of a good time to smoke right now. I agree with y'all.
Yes.
Did Katie hasn't been on in a while, right? Did she tell you?
She was on a little last week. She was on for like about 30 minutes, I think, last week.
Did she tell you that we were hanging out with the little midget Dan Hussins?
The Little Housens, were you?
Yeah.
I saw the picture on Instagram. The Micromania. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was awesome. Billy's birthday. Billy's the promoter, the house dad, if you will. Known him for a long time. It was his birthday, so we were hanging out with them, and I was like, man, that'd be pretty cool to get them on the podcast. But I don't know how protective their contract is, and in something like that, it could be really important to somebody. Say, for instance, whoever has the creative brain wrapped around whatever they're going to do with these guys, they might not want them to talk. You know what I mean?
True. Oh yeah, because they're WWE personalities right now.
Who knows? Yeah. Who knows? Yeah, but there's important things to consider. So
yeah.
But having said that, though, sometime, just like everyone else, sometime. I always think maybe I'll ask so and so, and then I never do. And then it's the day, and I'm like, it's probably too short to ask them now since we're starting 2 hours. But we've been having more guests on lately.
You've been having some good guests, some really good guests.
Sometimes fun to do it without. Sometimes it's fun to do it with. I'm surprised when other people have I'm surprised at Candice Michelle that she has so many matching values that I did and saw things the same way. Because, if you agree with me too much, you're probably nuts, according to regular people. Because people don't tend to stand behind every one of my perspectives, as you know.
Absolutely. Right. I think it's been neat because even today, what was I thinking about? I was at work at Whole Foods, and I was thinking about man, there's so many times where I would initially just think about it one way in one perspective, or maybe I'd give it two perspectives, but I don't think of it in multiple perspectives more often than not. And I always take a moment now if something I'm really pondering, I'm like, no, there's a different way to look at that, or certain aspects. So
there is. There always is. There's a lot of truth to the expression. There's three sides to every story,
Yeah.
And if you ever played the game when you're a kid where you whisper in someone's ear and then they whisper in the ear and how bad the story gets changed,
Yeah.
That's why I don't get why cops take phone calls and then take it as fact. You know what I mean?
Right. Mm-hmm.
They show up and they go, all right, what's going on here? And they go, I don't know. I didn't call you. You tell me what's going on. And they say, well, you're harassing people and doing this and that. You just got here. What are you saying? That, I mean, someone called and said that? So fucking what? Anyone can call and say anything. But they take it like it's fact because it's their job to create a crime that they can use against you. That's what their job is. To create a crime using the corroborating evidence they can line up to so that they can frame the narrative to fit the description that they want, and then bam, whether it's real or not, they feel like they did a good job. Like, well, maybe he wasn't drunk, but I mean, he failed 3 of the tests, so I did a good job by bringing him in.
Right. Yeah. I did my job. I did my part. And
yeah. His eyes were blurry. You saw it. He was his knee. He was unbalanced. Yeah, but he told you he had knee surgery. Yeah, I know, but it's that plus there was some empty bottles laying around near him. Remember that?
Did you forget that part? Yeah.
So, Do you think? I mean, people think cops are here to catch the bad guys, and you want them for that. But do you imagine, like in a regular day or week or any given window of time, when an average cop is out there on patrol, driving and stuff, do you think that he has run-ins with more good people that just maybe didn't come to a complete stop or failed to hit their turn signal? Or do you think he runs into more murderers and child molesters and puts them in jail? Because I think those are going to be the very few, unless they're special task forces, that are aimed and geared and located to handle specific crimes, as such. But otherwise, I think that they're around making crimes and making criminals out of good citizens way more than they are actually catching the bad guys.
Oh yeah,
I mean that's not based on doing research and statistics. Well, other than seeing a lot, observing.
Yeah, I think too. I know, like when I lived in Philly and stuff, there'd be a lot of stuff that the cops would not care about, like minuscule stuff. It would be like, you wouldn't, somebody's, panhandling on the street. They're not going to tell you, hey, you got to get moving. You can't, like, there's no cops that really do that. Whereas, like, even in Pittsburgh, that doesn't happen that too often. Like, there'll be panhandlers or homeless people sleeping. Like, cops will just let them go or whatever. But, but no, more often than not, I'm sure cops are just like, oh, you're dealing with people. You're not dealing with predators. Or you're not dealing with like murderers or anything to that effect. It's more so you're dealing with just normal people that kind of did something out of bounds. You know what I mean?
And then when someone does have to deal with the truly heinous, then it is going to be them that you call and them that come in, when there is something horrible to be dealt with. But I just feel like that's overall got to be such a small part of the job, and more of it is like, what's his big hurry? He's going 41 and a 35. Right. I better see what's up. I bet he's got a warrant out for his arrest. I bet he's wanted. Let me see if his insurance is up to date.
That probably, I would imagine that kind of happens more in like smaller areas, like rural areas. And
what do they do all day then?
That's it. They fuck around, like, not fuck around, but they kind of fuck around, I think, and like look for that kind of stuff,
And that's how a lot of police stations are funded, just through people paying fines. And then of course, when people don't know their rights, then they don't even bother questioning if shit is legal or not. They just pay it. And I would say, again, not based on actual statistics that I've been privy to, but I would guess that that's probably in the high, like 90-95% of what they deal with. But they, I always say this, like I think that they think people are potential criminals because I think they all believe if they get behind a car if they want to, they can find a reason to pull them over. And just that thinking is flawed, in my opinion, in the way that of they're supposed to be here for us and be our protectors and, public servants, blah, 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 in the way that they believe that, like, oh, if I follow this guy long enough, I'll get him for something, no doubt. Just the thought that means that they believe that everybody is a criminal, and they're out there using our tax dollars to fucking to bust us for shit that nobody cares about, and a lot of it not even legal.
Right. And the thing I hear about cops is like a lot of people that join the police force, they were either bullies in high school or they were bullied in high school.
Yeah.
And so there's a definite kind of different mentality. And that's not saying all cops are like that, but at the same time too, it's just like, there's almost like a fraternity thought process that goes on. That's systematic. Yeah, I think it's the term.
Yeah, there is. You're right. And then also when you want to just give each person their own individual evaluation, man, I have seen some heartless, cold motherfuckers laughing at killing people, behind the blue line in their conversations that are recorded, like, with their body cam. They don't know they recorded it. And they're like, oh my God, she's dead. She's dead, dead. But, and yeah, she didn't have much value anyway. And man, I saw something that's playing now this week, because I've seen it a couple times. A lady, the cops, I guess, are called because there's some dogs loose. And these kids are riding their bikes with their dog in the video. And then they're going in the house. And then when the cop comes to the gate, the dog runs out towards the cop who's out at the gate. And the cop bends down and he rubs his fingers together, like to imply that he's got a treat, like come here, and then shoots and kills the dog right in front of the family. Like, it's
That's
horrible. Horrible.
Awful. I know
their first thought isn't like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. It's just defending their position, oh my God, you just shot my dog. And then their first thing is just to defend. Well, he was running at me like he's going to attack me. Yes, of course I shot the dog. You stand back there, get away. And they just start, shouting directives and shit. And that's just one example, but I've just seen like so many of them taking like old people and just cranking their arms behind their back and hearing it pop, laughing about it later at the station. And it's like, that can't be all cops, but man, those kind of people are they're dangerous to make them cops.
Absolutely. And like, that's the aspect too, is like, so much of the cops that are there, they're not trained at de-escalating. They're more trained at or some of these have military backgrounds where they're like, oh, let's go get this person or let's kill this person, and so on, so speak. And like, so if they're put in a different situation like that, okay, you're dealing with civilians. There's matters of ways to de-escalate situations where you calm them down and not cause problems and escalate that, for lack of a better term. And I don't know. That is a great point, though. It's just like some of those people have a few chromosomes missing,
And there's some of them are complete psychos, and then they're trained to scream at you to try to, I guess, intimidate you into compliance. But at the same time, for a lot of people of both sexes, men and women, push back against that and don't like being screamed at. And so instantly it makes you not even listen to what they're saying. You just want to put your hands up, and block whatever's attacking you verbally and say, don't scream at me. Fucking, like, I can hear you. You know what I mean? And they're like, do it now. Down on the ground. And they don't even know what the fuck they're saying. They do. Yeah. A lot of times, they give contradicting fucking things, hands out, face down on the ground, get on your back. I see them say shit like that, and then it comes up in court, of course, and then the other cops are shouting something else. But we're gonna say it's a hell of a job, you know what I mean? But when I bounced, 100 years ago, like I remember there was a time when because there was a few different country bars around Tampa, and one bar had a reputation for having tough bouncers, and we were like, man, we need to be like that here at the Wild West, and we were like, we need to start fucking like really stepping it up a game and fucking kicking some ass and shit, so people learn to fall in line. And we did. And looking back at it, having the bigger picture of life experience now, that was so stupid.
Blue Chew Gold is better sex in a tablet. They combine 4 ingredients with one powerful solution. 2 ingredients get you hard physically, and 2 support arousal and desire in the brain. It works fast and lasts. Guys, have a complete experience in the bedroom with Blue Chew Gold. We're always happy with RVD to have Blue Chew as a sponsor, and no doubt about it, they get the job done for you in the bedroom, mentally and physically. There's a reason Blue Chew is the #1 brand for better sex. Experience it yourself at BlueChew.com. We got a special deal for our listeners. Right now, when you buy 2 months of Blue Chew Gold, you get the 3rd month for free with promo code RVD. That's promo code RVD. You will also receive an additional 10% off plus free overnight shipping on your first order. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And hey, as always, we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the pod and the bedroom. All right, other future. Let's have a little fun with this one too. I always like doing the player milestones. And let's say, for example, the regular season passing yards. You can get somebody like Matthew Stafford at plus 3,500 passing yards for the year at minus 200 right now on FanDuel. Try it out. Give it a try.
That was so stupid, and I hurt a guy for no reason, and I still feel bad for it, like I just fucking, he didn't deserve that. Fucking, I had his arm behind his back, and I walked him out face first real aggressively, and boom, opened up the door and like threw him down into a planter, and he hit his shoulder. And man, people were pissed at that. Like a bunch of people wanted to fight me seeing that. And looking back, I was a dick. And looking at cops that go with the proactive policing, it doesn't work in a thing like in a real world like that. There's places for it, of course, where, like, believe me, I understand there would be a lot more terrorist attacks and explosions if a lot of shit that we never even hear about wasn't cut off on its way, and that's from proactive investigating, and they find and they get information, and they find more information, and they're able to prevent some attacks. We never even hear about it because it never happened. Could have been the biggest thing ever, could have killed more people in the World Trade Center explosion, but instead we'll never hear about it because some unknown hero fucking caught in New York trying to steal a car or something. But I get that. But when it comes to just dudes out on patrol that are, just there to catch people that have legitimately broken the law, and they're doing the proactive thing because they got a hunch. They think this guy looks suspicious because he's black and walking down the sidewalk. So they go up to him, and hey, stop, and the guy, takes off running. Well, you haven't detained him. He doesn't even know who's screaming at him to stop. You haven't fucking given him any reason. He's a free man. But then all of a sudden now he's resisting, and it just starts. The whole fucking thing with them. And if you don't know your rights, like I said, then you're not even able to fight it, but not a fan of the proactive. Let's go around and follow our hunch, and then see if we can find enough facts to line together to where we can fucking lock this guy up tonight, and then call it a good night. That's basically what the job is. So yeah, the way, when they call you, when police call somebody, that should be considered maybe a third of the story, right?
Right. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
should be like, they should just go there and say, okay. And then if somebody says, I don't answer questions, I don't want to talk to you, fine. But that doesn't mean that the caller was 100% right just because this person isn't going to talk and say anything that can be used against them, which is what you want.
Yeah.
So yeah, it makes their job a little harder. They got to investigate a little more. Totally worth it. Totally worth having our rights. If you don't use them, you lose them. I really
That's
do
it.
believe.
Right.
Yeah, I believe
You
that.
gotta know. You gotta know them. I should learn them a little bit better. I know you watch all the
Everybody,
police videos. Yeah.
yeah, everybody's. I think everybody should at least the first few, at least the first five
Yeah. Yeah.
amendments. I'm sorry, to the Constitution, not rights, but that's what it's based on. And anyway, that's exactly what they're for, is to keep us from being taken over by a tyrannical government, and that's why the government doesn't like us using our amendments.
That's
Because
right.
they all take power away from the government. That's exactly what they're intended to do, and put the power back in the people. We, the people.
We the people. I think, and like that's the thing too. Nowadays too, it's like so much of our amendments and our like that we don't utilize, or like the government wants you almost to forget about them, or they'll like push through it and be like, no, we're doing this, and it seems to happen more now than it has ever before, at least. Or maybe that's just because we're recording and seeing everything more now that it seems more prevalent, but it feels more prevalent now than it ever has to me, at
Yeah, but
least.
that is a good point though. With the cameras, there's so much more accountability, and I'm a big fan of it. I don't.
Hmm.
Um, I was asking you earlier about how to rip little clips from YouTube, because I want to make a compilation of just some of the most ridiculous reactions to being recorded that people have. Like
Yeah.
a lot of videos don't have anything to do with cops that I watch, and it's people that are First Amendment auditors. They'll have a camera out in a parking lot, and people get so fucking pissed, and they think that they know the law. Like they literally will say shit, like, hey, it's a federal. A guy today said it's a federal penal code. You can't record somebody without having their permission, their consent. And I didn't give it to you, but they say that often enough to where do they get that from? Because it's not true, and they believe that as if somebody must have told them. But they also feel entitled to get physical. Like they get so mad that they think they're in the right. This person should not have a camera on me. I don't know this person, and they'll go in there and smack the camera, or worse. And there's a ton of videos of people getting pepper sprayed because they always carry that on them in case they get attacked, or somebody won't settle down and they pepper spray them. And usually the person that calls the cops is the one that gets in trouble anyway, because they fucking assaulted the person with the camera. And they're like, but
Yeah.
he can't record me. And the cops are always like, you're in public. He has every right to record you. But I didn't give him consent. He doesn't need your consent. They're like, oh, but I don't have privacy. Yes, if you're at home, you have privacy. Not if you're out in public. There's like 20 cameras on us right now, all over the place, and it always ends up the same way. And sometimes, to make a point, and if they're real assholes, the people getting recorded, then sometimes the auditors will press charges, and a lot of times they'll say if they apologize, then I won't press charge, but otherwise a lot of times they'll get cuffed up and they get carried away, and they still think they're right. They think that just the cop is wrong.
Right. Oh
It's
no, it's
crazy.
so funny you bring that up again too, because it was last week, I think it was. Yeah, I was at work. I was at Whole Foods. I was on my break, and like there's like a little cafe area, and I'm walking. Yeah, this was like a Monday or something like that. And I'm like, I got my food and I'm turning around and I see highlights of SummerSlam on ESPN. And I didn't watch SummerSlam in time. So I was like, kind of, oh, Roman Reigns, and seeing what's going on. I'm like, kind of looking, and I hear this lady sitting over here, it's by me, and she starts talking like, almost like, get the fuck away from me, or like something like that. I'm hearing her say and stuff like that. And I was like, is she talking to me? And I was like, I'm just standing here watching. And like, she's just sitting there like, and sure enough, I'm pretty sure she was talking about me, but I kind of like ignore her. And I like kind of finish watching a little bit of the highlight. And then I'm like, I'm going to sit over here. And so then I look and she's still talking like shit towards me almost, I'm thinking. And I'm like, I'm going to ignore this lady because she's not all there. And sure enough, though, like as she's talking, I see her hold up her phone and she's filming me. And I'm like, I've thought about what you said, and I was like, she's allowed to film me. I was like, I can't really do anything. So I'm just like, I'm just going to fucking eat my food and not pay attention to her.
Did she think you were filming her?
No, I didn't even have, like, I didn't have my phone. I was just I was watching the television.
Just watching the TV. Weird.
Just watching the TV and like shit. But she thought I was doing something to her maybe, and I'm just eating on my break.
Maybe you were farting on her.
I'm just farting on her. Yeah.
I don't know. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was a little weird, but like when she was holding up the phone, I felt like my privacy was invaded, but I was like, no, that's like she's allowed to do that. So you can't do that. Look at that shirt.
It's a Rob Van Dad shirt, by the way.
Oh, it's a Van Dad. I didn't even notice that. That's great.
Yeah, I'm looking at the messages and I see Rob Van Chair from Kyle Chase. Rob Van Chair, and I thought, oh, maybe you can't see the end, and he was wondering what it says. I don't know. That's how I took it. But
Kyle,
yeah,
awesome.
That's pretty weird. But I want to talk about that and show it, but I haven't. When I watch it, I hardly ever see the right video to where I can show like several in a short amount of time, like 10 seconds. But I show like a whole bunch of them. I might have to cut it, but. Dude, there's several of them though. I watched several of them. Some of them are rude on purpose, and that's part of their character. Let's say Chunky Cholo or whatever. They'll say if they're rude, then they're rude back right away.
Yeah.
Keep it moving. Keep it moving, lady. Like we don't give a fuck. And they try and make it about their kids sometimes, and they'll say, "You're filming my daughter." And one was like, fuck your daughter, fuck those kids. We don't give a fuck about that. Fuck every time. Did you really just say that? Yeah, fuck those kids. We don't give a shit about them because they try to make it like it's all about them. Like you're filming kids and that's illegal. I've seen a cop do that too. And it's not what they were trying to record there. But anyway, there's some that are nicer and some that are more rude and they're all I don't know about all of it. They're entertaining too, and then the cop usually gets called. But you learn a lot about our First Amendment right there, and a little bit about assault and battery too. And it's just crazy how entitled people are. I don't think. I mean, like my mom isn't comfortable being on camera. You know what I mean?
Sure,
last documentary they did of me on A&E, I was like, oh, you don't have to do it, Mom. I know you're not real comfortable. It'd be cool to have you on it. It's like, oh, well, if that's okay, then I think I'll pass. I was like, damn, Mom. But I get where, they invented cameras and she was already like in her 40s. So I get it, but not literally. But I think that to get angry like these people do is such a weird reaction. They walk through and they just go, the fuck are you doing? No, what are you doing? And nobody takes good to being talked to like that, No. They're always like, it's funny. And the guy that does the marijuana dispensaries, First Protection Agency. No, it's FAPA, F-A-P-A. First Amendment Protection Agency. But he's not. But anyway, he's cool to them. But then if they're rude or whatever, then he's rude back. And a lot of them are. These are recommended watchings if you want to see what I'm getting. But I can't even. It's hard to talk about when you can't see it. So we got to bring some videos.
Yeah, we'll have to pull some up or something.
I'm dying to know like some of these people like some of the Van Damme fam like. Their opinions on if these people are overreacting or what, because why would you get so pissed? And why do you feel like someone just reached in your pocket and grabbed your wallet when they have a camera pointed at you, because that's how defensive they get. Like, hey, 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 and they'll come running at them sometimes and shit. And it's so crazy. Like, these people really have anger issues.
I almost feel, no, because when that lady was filming me, I kind of got a little angry at first, like, just because I thought, like, what the fuck is she filming me for, And then, but then I was like, she's not all there, so that's probably why. But anyways, at the same time too, I almost feel like it's almost like somebody who's just staring at you, and you're like, you don't know why they're staring at you. You're like, what the fuck? Why are you staring at me? Like, and it's almost like an invasion of privacy in that way.
Right. But then, so yeah, just for courtesy, I can see that, and I made that comparison, which in a conversation in my head, I was using that watching this video, because that people will like come after them and like grab their camera. That happens a lot. They have poles and tripods and stabilizers. They'll grab all that shit and pull on it. They end up fighting or getting sprayed a lot of times. And afterwards they'll be like, dude, you grabbed my fucking camera. And they'll be like, they really think they have a legit stance when they say, yeah, I asked you not to film me. And like, they really think like they really had some kind of right there. And it's really, that's just like saying, I asked you not to look at me.
Yeah, basically, right?
Ask, but if they keep looking at you, you can't go and fucking kick the shit out of them.
Yeah. I mean, you are in public. It's just
real bag.
Okay.
Yeah, that crazy fucking. But yeah, we got to show some of those videos and talk about them.
I'm good.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
What's
up, Katie?
Hey. Show me your shirt, baby.
No, I did.
You did.
Cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Does Katie have a Katie Van Dam mom?
No, she's got an RVD shirt on too. Green glass one. But bottom line is, anger is the enemy. That's our lesson to take from this. The anger. It's really hard to ever think of a time when being angry is advantageous. It turns you into an asshole. It takes over your decision making. And so, like, if you ever feel like you're angry, try to be aware, try to stop and take notice and say, wait a minute, my emotions are off because I'm angry. I need to change my mindset and not fucking double down and be more of an asshole.
You're right.
no matter how right that sounds right now, it's only because I have the Incredible Hulk mind and I'm raging.
If you do something when you're angry, you're just gonna make the situation worse. Never take action when you're super angry. Doesn't
right. And try not to ever be angry.
That's it.
Work on that shit, and you'll be a better person, in my opinion.
Yeah. Kyle did add this too. Kyle Chase. He said, "This is why I enjoy your perspective, Rob. Our society is sorely lacking in empathy, critical thinking, and self-reflection. Most people can't even admit they are wrong anymore these days." It is true. Very true, Kyle.
It's very true, and I talk about all those points when I talk about my perspective. We call it RVDology, because I'm not afraid to have an unpopular opinion. I give my honest, this is how I feel, even if it offends somebody. Like, some people don't ever take the time to reprogram themselves as adults, and they don't grow up to make up for it in certain areas. So they're stuck with thoughts that they were taught when they were young, even if it don't make sense anymore. There's so many people out there that'll say, well, I don't care. You don't never hit a woman no matter what. That is like one of the stupidest things that you could say as an adult, in my opinion. So you're going to stand by and watch this girl. Say you're at a bar and you watch this girl pull out a knife and slice this dude's. Didn't even see it coming. She got him right from behind. She goes over to the next guy, grabs his hair, goes over to the next guy, you know, and she says, "Hey, partner," cuts him. Each time they fucking fall dead. She goes up to the fourth guy, cuts it. She goes over to the fifth guy. He sees it happening. He goes, bam, and he hits her right when she's about to cut, and boom, she goes down. Can you picture some asshole going up to him? "I don't care. I don't want to hear it. You don't ever hit a woman." Bam. I'm on her side because I was taught that when I was young, and I'm an asshole.
Could you imagine that happening in the Wild West, Rob, when you're bouncing?
Yeah.
Some chicks.
No, I got accused of hitting a girl. That happened one time.
Really?
No, not all the cutting. No.
Yeah,
No,
no.
but there was a big, huge fight at a wedding party, and it was like bodies like all over the place. It was like a lot of people outside, and then when the smoke cleared, and the bride came up and was saying that I hit her, and anyway, I had a bunch of rednecks coming up to me saying that, saying that, that ain't, I heard you hit her, man. That ain't cool, man. You don't never hit. So they're all pissed at me because of hearsay, which we talked about with the cop phone calls. That's all that is hearsay. That's legally what that is when someone calls. And if I call the cops and I tell the cops, hey, Dom is fucking committing a crime right now. He's outside pissing in the mailboxes all up and down the street. That's just hearsay. You know what I mean? Like if they come up to you and say, you were pissing in mailboxes, come on over here, put your hands behind your back, then fuck them and their investigative skills and their fucking law breaking and civil rights trumping tried. Anyway, so what were we talking about? What happened was I had to go in and sit down, and while I was sitting there, all these rednecks had coming by talking and shit like that, and I was just like, hey, anytime, motherfucker. Like, I was pissed at everyone was pissed. Emotions were up, like I said, we're angry. This fight before it bursted, like it took fucking 45 minutes to swell up, until finally one of us, it was me, just had enough. And as soon as something started, everybody started. And then anyway, afterwards, in the end, after all that, they ended up saying it was somebody else, and I knew that I didn't hit her anyway, but I remember her grabbing my shirt and pulling it and ripping it on me. And so I thought, maybe my elbow could have hit her or something. I don't know, but it didn't sound right, like I don't think that happened. And I wasn't drunk or, high or anything. And not, there's no reason for me not to remember. But anyway, in the end, they said it was somebody else. And like, that's part of why I hate that that way of thinking where people say, there's always exceptions to everything,
Yeah. There's no absolutes.
Now you can say it ain't cool to beat on women when you're a man. I agree with you. I got your back on that one. But yeah, to word it like no matter what, anytime you say no matter what, I'm gonna see it a little differently.
Right. The serial throat slitter. It's like one that you might want.
Hit that bitch, right?
Yeah, you might want to headbutt her or something.
If you see it coming.
Maddie says, over the years, I've had more cool cops than smug ones, but the smug ones will be rude back. Haha. Yeah, there's some cool cops too. For sure.
Yeah, well, I gotta say, I've gotten away with a lot just because of let's say privileged status, and so I'm not shitting on all those guys that have done me favors, hooked me up, let me slide, whatever. I'm just like we're talking about here. We're talking about systematic flaws and more of a bigger
picture overall police system. What's wrong with the police system? Did you ever see Serpico, the movie Serpico?
Yeah, but it was a long time ago. But you know what? It's funny you mentioned that. The actual guy, I met Serpico. He came to my school. He came to my school. Yeah.
Really? When you were like in high school?
No, maybe even elementary school, but yeah, somewhere awesome. It was no, I guess it was high school because we went to the Kellogg Center. All the schools went, now that I think about it. Like somebody came to the school and got us and we all went and I got like out from like the second half of the day or whatever and sat in sections at the Kellogg Center. But man, there's two guys though. There's Serpico and there's a black guy. Right now I got them mixed up because I feel like Serpico came to the school and the black guy I feel like came to the Kellogg Center, but I can't remember who that black guy is. But he was a musician telling us to stay off of drugs because he had horror stories, of his party days in some kind of band. I would remember, like if someone mentioned his name, I'd say that was him. But no, Serpico came to our school.
That's awesome, man. That's
probably it could have still been 70s, if 70s or early 80s, somewhere. Yeah, but
I think I have the book, the Serpico book somewhere. Yeah, I do. Look at this. Holy shit! Boom. The cop who defied the system.
He was a stooge. That's the thing. Even if you're the one good one and you tell on everyone, now you're a stooge.
Yeah.
Or as they say in the mafia world, you turned bad.
Yeah, you turned bad. But no, that you should watch the Serpico movie with Al Pacino. It's really, really good, and it shows it like he was like, he was true just Sidney Lumet directed it. It's a good movie.
What's that?
Sidney Lumet, the famous director, he did Dog Day Afternoon, The Verdict with Paul Newman. He did a lot of good movies. He's one of my favorite. He probably is my favorite director, actually, when I think about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Here, let's hit some super chats here. Thank you, Maddie, by the way. We got a good amount of super chats here. Let's see. Maddie said this too. Thanks for the Australian $5, mate. He says the universe found a place for me and horses and dogs to move in to September. Oh, with some farm work. Mumsy is comfortable. Good to hear. And RVDology is teaching life finds a way. Good for you, Maddie. Yeah, I know you're trying to get out of the place that you were currently in.
Yeah, congratulations on the life upgrade, dude. That sounds awesome.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. Good for you, dude.
By the way, I'm gonna twist another one up because as you can see, there wasn't very much left of that doobie that I had to smoke there. That was basically a roach. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that the bud that I will be smoking for this doobie is part of the Nuwu Cup that is coming up, and that's NUWU Nuwu Nuwu.
Ooh, there it is right there. Look at that.
Yes, sir. And this is something that they do every year, and it's a big contest tournament with different platforms of cannabis, such as flower, pre-rolls, concentrates, gummies, different things, and then there's like a big journal, and there's all kinds of things that you vote on, or that you write for notes and shit, and you vote on all the different products. Anyway, me and Katie are judges, and so that's what I got this for. And there's an actual event coming up October 17th if you're in the Las Vegas area. although I'm not saying that I will be there necessarily. I won't, because I'll be in New York, on Long Island. I'm trying to think of what the city's name is specifically, but Long Island, New York, October 7th.
Elmira.
Elmira. So, yeah, so don't be thinking I'm going to no-show you guys because of the Nubu Cup, but I am getting my my votes in.
Nice. All right, this week's episode of One of a Kind is presented by Mars Men. That's right. You in your 40s, maybe late 30s. I'm 41. So, and I always say that I do feel still like I'm 28 years old. However, there will be moments where I do feel a bit my age, if you will. And that's kind of where Mars Men come in handy, for sure. Mars Men is, we welcome them back to the show. And they support healthy T levels, energy, and stamina. The 8 natural clinically dosed ingredients, including Tongkat Ali, Shilajit, vitamin D, zinc, boron, and more. They're made in the USA and third-party tested. And there's a 90-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk. Worst case, you don't absolutely love it, and you get your money back, but over 91% of users report higher levels. The Allens and the guys are feeling incredible results. Just check out the reviews on the website and see it for yourself. So, yeah, maybe give you a stronger physical performance if you're going to the gym, or get better recovery while you're in the gym. It's just more consistent natural energy, too, possibly. It's not like drinking a cup of coffee. It's a steadier sense of drive throughout a day. So, for a limited time, our listeners get 50% off for life, plus free shipping and 3 free gifts at mengotomars.com. That's mengotomars.com, and 50% off and 3 free gifts when you check out. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that One of a Kind with RVD sent you. Well, be sure to enjoy that. All right, we'll take some super chats here. Maddie, he asks a wrestling question here for you, Rob. He asks, what if Booker T and RVD beat Triple H for the world title? I think he means back in like 2003 when you guys were kind of in the mix there.
We'd have to split it then, right?
Right, yeah.
It'd be like me and Sabu, and I'd grab it, and he'd grab it back on the promos. Give me that, too. And I'd say, dude, people like to see the world title on RVD's shoulder where it belongs. Give me that sucker. I told you 5 times already. This belt belongs to me. And then I'd say, right, and I'll give you a 5-star frog splash if you don't leave my belt alone. Let me, man, okay.
Sign me up.
Cut. Yeah.
I want that. Man, that would have been a great fucking storyline.
Yeah.
I'm all for
there
that.
You go. You got it for free. You got to fast forward through 6 months of story angles. That's all we had.
That's all we had.
Yeah. That's what would happen. That's what would happen.
That's what would have went down.
Always,
I know this.
Always enjoyed working with Book. Always.
Yeah. Fun tag teaming with him, and then I bet it would be a blast wrestling him too. What a pro too. He's such a big dude, but he's so athletic. It was just great. Like some of the moves he was able to pull off was just really impressive too. So
yeah, totally respectable dude in my opinion and from my experiences.
Hells yeah. ECW RVD 420, good name. He says, "Hey yo, RVD, who's your favorite martial arts actor? Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee, Tony Jaa, etc." I think I know this answer, but I'll wait till you confirm it.
I feel kind of like leaning towards Jean-Claude Van Damme for the namesake.
Okay.
I mean, I was a big fan of, when I was that age, all this first 10 movies or so, all the way from Black Eagle and Super Fights to Kickboxer and course, Bloodsport and Cyborg, and then even the next batch, and then I might have stopped watching. It got busy on the road, but Tony Jaa is awesome because he does all his own shit, and his shit is amazing that he does. Jackie Chan is entertaining. Steven Seagal entertaining in a different way.
Yeah.
I mean, I think of, did we say martial arts or just action? Because that's,
I think you said
Yeah.
said martial arts actor.
yeah. I mean, I think I named them all, but I mean, there was also Jeff Speakman and Mark Caracas. No, something like that. Gone and away.
Hmm.
The fuck, Mark Dicakos, and who else was there? Like that was.
Well, so I thought you were gonna say Billy Jack. I thought Billy Jack.
Oh, okay, go way back to the OGs.
Yeah, because I remember you talking about him early on, and
Yeah.
I thought that was gonna be your choice.
Billy Jack was an inspiration for Bobby Kalinowski, my starring role in Wrong Side of Town.
Really?
Yeah, which I'm sure with my phenomenal acting, people thought that A Piece of Wood was the inspiration, but it was actually had Billy Jack in mind because you're so calm and cool and collected and could kick ass and not need to scream about it. And I dig that. So, also I could relate to it.
I don't think. I think I mean, if we're just going even from just the wrestling perspective, when you had to do like backstage segments or certain things like that, I thought you were more of a natural than a lot of people were at acting. You know.
Well, a lot of times though, they wanted to get more out of me. You know what I mean? That's why, like, I don't consider myself very dramatic. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, but like with wrestling too, it's like there's some camp to it, and the fucking thing is like they want you to fucking dive in like you're Marlon Brando, you know, and like you try to do method or some shit like that, and it's just like no, you can be yourself to the extent that your persona is, and if you convey that, then you're a good actor in the wrestling realm, and I think you were a good actor in the bare minimum in the wrestling realm.
So I'm sure we talked about this before when it comes to Billy Jack.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't seen his movies, right?
No, I have not.
Just got to put a filter in, but look at that perfect little
That's
dude.
really good. Dang.
I'm proud. So the really famous scene from his first big movie, he's talking to this corrupt cop of all people, and he he goes, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put this foot right here, right up on the side of your face, right there, and there's nothing you can do about it. And he's like, is that right? And then it goes bam and does a big like windmill kick. And I mean, that is the Hollywood version, in my opinion, of hey Randy, pick a hand, you know?
Yeah.
Which
right.
I went with Randy because people don't remember that started with the sound guy, but that is, that's like the same fucking vibe, the same coolness, and so that's why I can relate. There he is.
There's Billy Jack with that.
The thing that's really cool about him, he made these movies starring himself. He invested in renting movie theaters out and showing this movie. And it was a big gamble and it paid off and he made a ton of money. So then he did the sequel. I think maybe the sequel did really well too. And then I think maybe by the third time it bit him in the ass and he lost his money, on promoting the movie that didn't pay back.
Wow, man. Pretty neat stuff, though. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check out a Billy Jack movie.
He's an Indian too. You don't see a lot of Indian heroes, and back then, like this is from I don't know, early '80s probably.
Yeah, probably.
Probably 80. I don't know, 84, 82. Anyway, probably I was
71, 1971.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it came
Holy
out.
shit.
The movie Billy Jack is a 1971 American action drama. It actually, I
Wow.
think the release date though was in 1973.
Wow, that motherfucker, it's almost as old as me.
And then the sequel was called The Trial of Billy Jack.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so okay, so now I see. I think the original came out in 1971, and then the sequel came out in 1973. So that's
Okay.
yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I was thinking about the quality of that picture, and that's what made me go with the 80s. I almost said 70s, and I was like, nah, that's a good picture. I think I'll go with 80s. But anyway, yeah. Cool dude.
Yeah.
Cool dude. Good guy.
Good guy. Hey, was this a good guy? Maddie asks, memories of Mr. Wonderful. Smoke 'em. He beats up 7 shit. Or 7 what? 7. I can't see what emoji that is. You know what emoji that is?
Memories of Mr. Wonderful. Beat him. He beat up 7.
Cops? Oh, beat up 7 cops?
I don't know about that story.
I don't either.
I mean, I know about the one where he supposedly beat the hell out of Vader backstage, and I've heard that told a few different ways. But Nick Patrick was there, and I heard it from him, and he said that it was like a one-punch thing. He said that Orndorff came way down and like a big full-body uppercut swing, and he said he hit him so hard that he came out of his shoes, I think. Maybe I better not say that because now I'm not 100% sure. But Orndorff had flip-flops on. I remember that part.
Oh, yeah. I remember that part.
I'm not sure about that part with the shoes. So let me don't quote me on that part. But anyway, knocked him out, went down the hallway. Vader woke up, went after him again, and got like the same result according to the way that I heard it, But outside of that, and that's just one of the more memorable things because Vader was a big monster, and that's pretty awesome. I can't remember if Nick said which arm he hit him with. I mean, you would think it has to be the good arm, but I'm not really sure that it was. But anyway, I wrestled him that one time in WCW that was on television, and a lot of people have seen that match, particularly the part where he's complaining to the ref, hey, he's doing all these flips. And he was really fun to work with. When it comes to 5-star do-over, this is one that I would do over. I remember talking to him earlier, and he was saying when he does his pile driver that some people they let their legs fall or split, and he needs me to have my legs together and straight up. And I was like, yeah, no problem. But when I watched the footage, my legs fucking folded and split around his head when he's got me like that. So when I think of that match, I think of shame in that moment, for that reason. I fucked up, and that's what stands out. I'm like, fuck, he didn't say nothing. We didn't talk about it, but but I know. And as someone that obsesses over do-overs, I mean, I do stupid stuff that well, this ain't that stupid, but last week we were talking about Dory Funk Jr. And I was describing the way that he did a hip toss that Baba didn't like it, and he wanted Johnny Ace to go up, and telling him the right way to do it because he didn't want the young boys to learn that way. And I was trying to explain. He goes like elbow to elbow, drops to his knees instead of like throwing him over like this. So it's not like a regular hip toss. After the show, and this happens almost every week, a while after the show, like I'll be replaying some things in my head, and then I'm like, fuck, you know what? It's not even a fucking hip toss. It's an arm drag. Like, no wonder Dom didn't know what the fuck I'm talking about. It's an arm drag. I'm a dumbass. Little shit like that happens to me all the time. And we've talked before about regret here, how you have to change what regret means to you, because you can't just make it disappear, but you can make it not as destructive and make it just a reminder moving forward. And that's what you got to do with shit like that, But an arm drag, you sink in like really deep right under the armpit. But with Dory in the old school arm drag, he would go like inside elbow to elbow, drop to his knees, and then and just take the arm drag that way. But,
yeah, I know it. I think I know what you're talking about. It's a very different way to do it for sure. Yeah. People should bring the Dory Funk arm drag back though a little bit more. I think that's
maybe. Maybe so.
What's old is new again. That's what I do.
True.
Lady Nisa, member for 13 months. She's got a cool thing. She says, You helped me get my nephew into wrestling, and he had his first junior high meet tonight. Thanks for being a good role model, RVD. How about that? That's pretty awesome.
Nice. Yeah, congratulations on that meet. Right on.
Heck yeah.
Very cool. Very good to know. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely. Maddie says this for Australian $5 too. Thank you, Maddie. He says, a cop told my evil ex, Maddie likes to argue. Is that not what non-conforming is in cop talk? Most cops are cool, basic thinkers or non-playable characters.
Most cops are cool, basic thinkers, or non-playable characters. Well, first off, this is another thing too, by the way. I said this is something 5-star do-over I would do that's really small. But I said before, because somebody said, should you talk to the cops? And I said, no, I said, your lawyer, I'm 100% sure will tell you not to talk to the cops. And then afterwards, I was like, I can't say 100%, you know what I mean? Like, not everyone's going to agree. If he's a good lawyer, but even little things like that. But yeah, don't talk to the cops. Their job is just to create a crime that they can use against you, and anything that you say can and will be used against you. So don't incriminate yourself. But yeah, I mean, there's some cool people that are cops, but then, once they join the Blue Line gang, then they are a member of that gang. They're going to back their other gang members, whether they know what's going on or not. If they see, that their fellow partner needs help in whatever he's doing,
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, is that not conforming? I guess not really. Hopefully everyone's learning that and learning, but they're not everyone will learn, and there's always going to be bootlickers and always people that try to over explain when they get pulled over. They apologize too. Like the cop will say, the reason I pulled you over was for doing 42 and a 35. And they'll say, oh my God, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was late getting to work. Like, that's like the worst thing you can do is say, at a minimum, I will at least accept that if you want to write a ticket or whatever. Would you like to search my car and see if you can come up with anything else?
Yeah. Just opening yourself up for more.
Yeah. Right.
The Boston Brat.
Okay. Perfect. Dude, I should be in a doobie rolling contest.
You should, yeah. Is there a new competition you can do that with?
I don't know. I didn't really realize how good I was doing until I started showing them off the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, those look super profesh. Boston Brat says, "Thank you, RVD, for teaching my cat to hit a perfect frog splash on me. Been spending my time watching old matches with my cats today, and my youngest and biggest boy hit me with a perfect frog splash. Oh man, you're you're teaching the cats too. I have to get Razor to watch some footage.
5-star cat splash. We're gonna change it up a little bit.
That gives a
Five-star,
five
5-star cat splash.
whiskers, a 5 whisker splash.
You know what I used to do that was really, really mean when I was a
Oh
kid?
yeah,
Yeah. The neighbors behind us had a pool and there was like no fence. So it was like just accessible, which is weird, but you could like walk right in there. And when they weren't home, so I would me and my friends sometimes would take their cat and we would like throw the cat way up and watch the cat do flips, and it would land like on the pool cover. So we figured it wasn't hurting it, that it was a soft landing. And so
Uh-huh.
we didn't look at it as like being that mean, but it would like sometimes it would have to go through some water on top of the thing or whatever. And it was traumatizing. By the time it would get to the side of the pool, we grab it again, and it'd be like, no, not again. And we'd swing it between under our legs and go, phew, and it would do like all these flips. Like that was so mean. And if they had a camera in their yard, they could so bust us nowadays for shit like that. That's what I was talking about. There's cameras and accountability everywhere now. So I am happy with that. It seems like
Yeah.
not everybody is. Seems like not everybody is, but I'm
Seems like,
definitely.
yeah, no, I think there. Well, I don't know anything too much about this aspect, but have you heard of the flock cameras or whatever those are?
Yeah, they get heat.
I don't even know what they are really. I haven't researched.
Yeah, I don't know what the difference between that and just the cameras that have always been at the traffic lights that get you are anyway, except for like there's always cameras at certain traffic lights, takes your picture if you're through a red light. These flat cameras, from what I understand, are judging your speed and shit. So it's like you can get a ticket sent to you in the mail. Let me know in the chat room if I'm wrong about this, but you can get a ticket for speeding sent to you in the mail when nobody even observed it. And they get heat because they've been, I've seen 2 or 3 cases anyway where they got the wrong car.
Oh wow, really?
One cop goes to this lady's house and he's like, well, I know that it was you. I've seen video and I can prove that it's you. And she's like, I've been home. Was home all day. Like, what are you talking about? And he ends up looking like such an asshole in the end because he's so committed and doubling down on fucking believing it. And then it ended up being an error somehow.
Oh,
and I don't know how the error, and I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, I don't know how the error would be a timing thing. Because if it took a picture of your car, it took a picture of your car, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look up how those.
Alexa, what the fuck is a flock camera?
A flock camera is an automated license plate reader that snaps passing cars, recording the plate, make, model, color, and other visible details. Law enforcement, schools, and businesses use them to build searchable vehicle data for investigations and crime deterrence.
How are they making mistakes and getting troubled?
Flock cameras misread plates. Sometimes a 2 looks like a 7 or an O becomes a 0, and officers often treat those alerts as fact without manually verifying the full number,
That's what they do.
People being stopped, detained, or even jailed. Public backlash grew after these errors and reports of officers using the system to stalk X's, prompting Flock to add audit assistance tools that flag abnormal usage.
Yeah, cops can be real assholes, huh?
I heard about that. Yeah, that's right.
Well, the technology itself isn't the problem. It's how it gets used. When officers don't double check those plate reads or misuse the system for personal stuff, that's where things go sideways.
Thanks, Alexa.
You got a point, Alexa.
You bet.
Man, how about that?
She should be included in our conversation a lot more. There's really 3 of us here.
Yeah, no, right. Hey, Alexa. Hey, there's 3 sides to every story, Rob.
Boom.
Boom.
There
How
you
about
go.
that? Thank you, Victor, for oh no, I didn't even say this one. Victor, thank you for the $5. I used some RVDology this week to avoid an argument by saying, "That's your opinion, I have mine." It de-escalated the argument so quick and it felt great. How about that? Nice.
Yeah, that is great. Good to know. And it's so true. Like I remember hearing that almost exact same quote when I was probably a kid, like so long ago, and it just sounded kind of snotty, kind of like I am rubber, you are glue. Whatever you say bounces off me and sticks to you. It just sounded like another thing to say when you don't have anything. When you say, well, that's your opinion. That's your opinion. But when you really understand that, and you're saying it because it makes total sense, and you're totally like, yeah, that's okay, that's how you feel. Me, obviously I feel different, but you do you. And when
Right.
you can really understand that is how you want to live and how you should and how everybody should, in my opinion, then it's not so snotty. It totally makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense. There's that famous line in the Big Lebowski too, where the dude just like, well, that's like just your opinion, man.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's so true. And so many people, we learned over the Raja incident, people are pissed if you have a different opinion. You're wrong. If you have a different opinion, then your opinion's wrong.
Ooh, you know what I want to get your opinion on, Rob?
Nothing.
Is that AJ Styles and his son not helping with chairs? What do you think of that?
Yes, indeed. We got to talk about this because I know it's getting quite the attention. I saw, I guess first it was Hannibal, and then I saw Perry Saturn talk about it. And I was kind of, you probably didn't listen to Perry Saturn yet.
No, I didn't hear Perry Saturn's take on it.
I was kind of surprised, but then also not really. Because what would you think Perry's take would be on should young guys in the business, young guys that are learning, that are starting out, to whatever place you want to draw the line, that's a whole nother conversation, but should those kind of people help set the ring up? What would you think Perry Saturn's answer would be?
I would think since Perry like trained wrestlers and like he's kind of starting from the ground up there, like if you take away some of the context of it and just like a young wrestler that's trying to break into the business or get their name out there, that yes, I would think Perry Saturn would say help pay your dues, so to speak. That's what I would think.
So I thought so too. And not only is he the opposite, but I understand that too, because I'm the opposite too. It's like and we both got trained by the same, by the same family, by Bert Ruby's
the Bert Ruby family.
The Bert Ruby, yeah. But his take is hilarious, I think, because he's like, fuck no, like you're there to wrestle, not to set a ring up and take a ring down. And the promoter should have somebody that he pays, someone that's an expert that knows how to do it really well. He said it's hard enough, especially when you're starting out, to have a match and to be concentrating and worried, about everything going right. You shouldn't have to worry about fucking setting a ring up and taking it down. But the way that he words it is he makes it kind of funny. But then when I thought about it, I'm like him. I never did. Now I did with Kit Likens only, and that was before I met the Sheik, before I was 18 and actually trained professionally. When I did the kickboxing shows and wrestled, pre-trained, wrestled at those kickboxing shows, I did then, me and my buddies set the ring up. And looking back, Kit would have been, I think, foolish to not have us set it up. Like we were so excited to do it. You know, we really wanted to set it up. We couldn't wait to get in the ring early and fuck around, you know, before the doors were open. And he would have been foolish to have anyone else do it, I think. And on my, when you graduate and you live in Michigan, there used to be something you call an open house, and you have all your family come and they give you money and they had food and everything. I was the most non-social person at my own open house because I spent the whole day setting the ring up because I wanted to show everybody me in the ring, and I had to set it up by myself, and it took all fucking day, and you know, like 4 hours or something. Like I blew off my grandpa and grandma who came all the way from Pittsburgh and fucking cousins from Ohio, whatever. I was just like, yeah, I don't think it'll take that much longer. And it sucked, but four people can set it up comfortably in a decent amount of time. The more people you have, the better. But after that part of my career, which is pre-career, I never once set the ring up with for the Sheik or for any of the promotions that I wrestled for. And so Sheik probably thought that as well, you know, that me and Sabu could have in his yard, you know, but I don't even know if you count that. I mean, why wouldn't we if we're moving it from, you know, like Kit's ring from my yard to a show back to my yard, or moving from Sheik's to Sabu's or whatever. But yeah, so I gotta agree. Like I'm not from the school of you should do that to pay your dues, but I understand it. And it is how certain traditions that I am used to are kept. Take, for instance, All Japan Pro Wrestling. New Japan was almost definitely going to be the same, but I wasn't around during that part of my career for New Japan. But in All Japan, the young boys, they set the ring up, the chairs. They're in there working out every day before the show with Dory Funk, learning to do an arm drag, and they're wrestling the first few matches of the card, and then afterwards they go put the team jackets on and they go and stand around the ring and they got to clean the ribbons up. They take the jackets from the wrestlers back to the dressing room, and it's very humbling, which is more part of their culture to be humbled like that, more than it is over here. But a lot of promoters do want the younger guys to help, and they do feel like that's part of paying their dues, and maybe that's how they came in. I remember Katie saying that Rikishi, she asked Rikishi how long he thought wrestlers should help with the ring, and he said always, like, you should never stop. And that sounds to me like that's just Rikishi trying to get some work done. I don't know.
Yeah. I know with the AJ Styles' son, I'm just like, no, he shouldn't have to do any of that. Like, okay, number one, like, he's a talent. You're bringing him to perform on your show. And so he, like, you should have students be able to set that up, or trainees or something like that. But like, he is a paid talent and he's an attraction. He's AJ Styles' son. Like, so like for the expectation to be like, oh, it'd be nice maybe if he did that, but he's not obligated to do anything like that. Like, you didn't pay him to come help you set up chairs. You paid him to wrestle. And if he's a young wrestler, to what you said too, Rob, like, he's probably in his head about like, oh, I got to remember to do this, or I want to make sure I do this and I perform in the right way. Then you're getting the best of Avery Styles. Plus you're getting AJ Styles along with it. So it's just like, there's the expectation to have him do something like that, I think is pretty ridiculous. Like, we've had in IWC, we had a Izzy, and she was a youngster. Like, she was in NXT. She was like Bailey's biggest fan. And then she got into wrestling, and she's like only like I don't know, 19, maybe she's 20 now. And like, there was no fathom in my brain that she should be setting up chairs or, doing anything like that. We brought her in to work the show.
Yeah.
And that's what she did,
Yeah, I know. You bring up, that's a good point when you say students. If you have access to students, then that'd be a great job for them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. But the expectation for Avery Styles to come in and, hey, why aren't you moving chairs and paying your dues, youngster? Fucking AJ Styles paid 20 years of his dues so he could get his kid an opportunity like this. So it's just like,
So, but let's talk about that for a minute. Do you expect that special treatment from him is going to make some of his peers bitter? Jealous?
Oh, I would think so. I would think so. Yeah. Especially wrestlers. It's like you go backstage. There's all this there's butthurt wrestlers all the time.
They're emotional. Wrestlers are emotional.
Yeah, wrestlers are emotional. And look, that one guy Eric Cannon took to X and tried to hang Avery Styles out to dry about all this stuff. And I don't know if you saw this, but he was posting pictures like Jimmy Hart setting up chairs, and then he had a picture too that he shared of Cody Rhodes sweeping when.
Wait, what's Jimmy Hart doing setting up chairs?
Though? I don't know why Jimmy Hart was doing it. Maybe Jimmy was just grabbing a chair. Who knows what he was doing? But
Jimmy definitely should not be setting up chairs.
Jimmy Hart, especially no, he shouldn't. But the funny thing is, he shared this picture of Cody when Cody had the jet black hair, Cody Rhodes. Yeah. He's sweeping up glass or something that was in the ring. And so that guy shared it. But then Cody quote tweeted this guy and said, Eric, he's I understand what you're trying to do. He's but, and he basically shit on him for doing that. He's no, AJ Styles' son doesn't have to do any of that stuff.
Who did? Cody did?
Cody Rhodes did. He said it.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I mean, I get why some people would feel upset and butthurt because of the special treatment. But yeah, I mean, unless they're students, then, probably shouldn't be their job either if they're just booked there to wrestle. But if they are students, and they are paying their dues, then yeah, I'm okay with helping out the promoter if he owns you, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right. You're getting trained and all that stuff. That I think that's a right opportunity to do it. But yeah, I was no, it's his son should not be obligated to do any of that stuff. It's just you're paying him to get there. You're also in turn paying to have AJ Styles there too. So it's just
yeah,
man, there's no reason.
He might. So that might the special treatment might work against him as far as resentment from all the other boys. And then depending on how he reacts to that, if he doesn't care, then he could just be one of the guys that doesn't get along with everybody, but gets heat his whole career, dresses over by himself, one of those guys, or probably everyone will be nice to him anyway, because there's a lot of phoniness to it's certain levels. Let me put it that way. Certain levels in the industry. Yeah. But I just mean if they were the same ones talking shit about him, But yeah, right. It's just a bunch of hurt feelings, and I've always said, that it's a business, and it's all about who can sell tickets, and how can you complain you're not being treated fair if no one's ever bought a ticket to come and see you, and you're not marketable, and this guy is. What do you expect us to do? We're trying to fucking turn a dollar here.
That's right. And you know what? It teaches you indie wrestlers that are butthurt indie wrestlers that, hey, life is not fair and wrestling is not fair. There's politics and everything. There will be nepotism. There will be cronyism. There will be all this kind of shit going on in pro wrestling. And you have to accept the fact that that's going to happen. It's just I don't know. I thought, and this has been going on. It feels like for weeks, this whole topic on X, it's been going on. It's just but it's probably been 5 days or something. But it's
I just saw today people talking about it, and I just so yeah, I'm glad you brought it up.
yeah, funny shit.
I can remember the first territory that I wrestled in was USWA, in 1991. And I remember the boys bitching about the nepotism that Brian Christopher was getting just by being Jerry the King Lawler's son. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, they acted like he was getting like such special treatment, which I'm sure he was, and including his push. But it's just to think of the proportionally, like how much could they have been doing back then to offer him special treatment compared to what they can do now. Not only are the boys making like way more money than USWA ever paid anybody, but they own entertainment basically. So, if he works his way up to there, which I believe AJ's laying the path out for him, then he's gonna, as they say, he'll be laughing his way all the way to the bank.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. I think it's unfair too for that guy to call Avery Styles out on X and like just paint a picture of him already. He's a kid and like, he's so people might automatically think that he's some brat or entitled or anything like that. And maybe that's not the case. You just, maybe your butt hurt and you decided to say something about this person. And so it's like, it doesn't set them off.
How old is Avery Styles?
I think he's 19. I think he's 19. Maybe he's 17. I don't know.
Cool. Pretty young.
Just a young guy.
I saw, by the way, somewhere, I guess on YouTube, in the comments, there was a question from somebody that said, how long does it take until you shake the stigma of being labeled a greenhorn?
Oh.
No, actually, I don't know where I saw it, but anyway, I was gonna say I thought that I heard Perry answer it, but not answer it, but it wasn't answered anyway. I think it was asked to somebody who didn't. I don't know why they blew it off, but I was just gonna tell you the formula as it was when RVD broke in. It was 5 years, and that's not wrestling once a month. That's 5 years of fucking hitting that ring and working like full-time working 5 years, but nobody starts out that way. So that's kind of weird because you count the first few years anyway, even though you weren't working full-time,
Yeah.
But 5 years till after that, you're not green anymore. Used to be the formula. And then 10 years it takes to be called a vet. After 10 years, you're a veteran. And that's the way that it was when I broke in. I've heard Steve Kern say that to a bunch of people when he was talking to a bunch of wrestlers, that was what he went by was 10 years until you of working a lot till you're a veteran, and 5 years till you're not green. So I just wanted to answer that for whoever asked, and I thought that was an interesting question. Maybe people might find that answer interesting as well. And by the way, like a lot of the talent that you see getting pushed didn't even have the 5 year experience. Last I knew, I remember when I was there, like in 2015, and this was a shitty run, my last shitty run there. But I just remember Roman Reigns telling me that he'd been in the business 4 years and like he was getting pushed like a motherfucker. It was Shield. It was still Shield then, but those guys were getting pushed like really hard. And I was thinking 4 years and you're on main event here, WWE Monday Night Raw, beating me and guys and everybody else. Wow. And you're 4 years. I was thinking like, wow, that's but he grew up in the business. There's that, but I don't know how you factor that in. But anyway, just a point I wanted to make.
No, it is interesting. There's a lot of younger guys. I don't think like somebody like Obafemi. I don't know how long he's been in wrestling for. A lot of those guys, they're relatively new. Maddie, he asked, what are your thoughts on the Mortal Kombat movies and Kung Pao?
Is Kung Pao is Chinese food, right?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I've never seen Kung Pao.
I don't know. I'm not sure about that one. Kung Pao. I'll try it. Sounds good. Kung
Yeah,
Pao. And I think I just saw part of Mortal Kombat movie recently that they've redone them. You know, I know the old one and have seen that, but I didn't see. I don't know how many they've done of the new ones. If it's a series or if it's just one.
They've done 2. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I saw part of one at the gym a few weeks ago and didn't realize they'd done that. So I don't know too much about it, except it's really good action, but I also can't appreciate it from the perspective of somebody that used to play the video game, because I didn't used to play the video game. Otherwise, I'm sure there'd be a lot more to enjoy about the characters being portrayed on the screen, shit like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I grew up as a kid. It was like pro wrestling and Mortal Kombat. So that was I loved it. I love the movies. The first one, especially the original, and then the 2 sequels. The newest one is really good. I enjoyed that too. So big fan. I never seen Kung Pao.
Cool characters.
Yes, cool characters. Rob, you'd be good. I always would think like, who would Rob be in Mortal Kombat? And funny enough, I think you'd be a good character. The name is Stryker, and Stryker was a cop. But I was like, Rob could portray the cop in a pretty cool way, I think. And I was like, I think he'd be a good Stryker. Right.
Stryker? I don't even know her.
I know. Frankie Chorizo, thanks.
Matt Stryker.
Questions. Stryker? Matt Stryker? Matt Stryker. 1, did Russo say when he watched ECW, someone's going to die, to deflect that the Attitude Era came from ECW? So did Vince Russo say when he watched ECW, someone's going to die watching ECW, to defect that the Attitude Era came from ECW? Do you think that was like a reason to push, that we weren't inspired by ECW, the Attitude Era just changed because we wrote it that way? I think that's what he means.
I don't get it.
He's wondering if Russo's deflecting and saying that that somebody's going to die in ECW. So we didn't get our inspiration from ECW because they're too extreme. So we got the Attitude Era just on our own volition. I think that's kind of what it means. Do you think that's what Russo was saying?
Do you think, is it possible that Vince Russo said someone's going to die watching AEW, and he's trying to, and that was a mistake, and he's trying to say that the Attitude Era came from ECW? Because, or maybe not. It seems like somebody said that. I know somebody said that recently. Somebody said,
I think I heard that too, Rob, where somebody did say somebody's going to die.
Yeah, that exact fucking quote. So
yeah,
maybe he meant that. Does it make more sense like that? And then reference to ECW creating the shit that AEW is inspired by now?
Yeah, I don't know. To deflect that the Attitude Era came from ECW. Frankie, add some clarity to that one maybe for us, will you?
And ECW opponents be Sabu,
boom,
Jerry Lynn, Bam Bam Bigelow,
boom. 3.
Let's see. Maybe Spike Dudley.
Boom. 4.
And I'll go with hell, I'll go with Rhino.
Boom. Good 5 choices. I like them, Rob. I like them. I approve.
Show.
Ooh, Tracy Smothers.
Definitely enjoyed working with him just because he was so fun.
I bet he was a blast. RDR fan. What does RDR mean? I wonder. Red Dead Redemption fan? I don't know, but thanks for the 10 Australian $10. Hey, Rob, what's your favorite martial arts movie? Mine's Once Upon a Time in China with Jet Li.
Did we even mention Jet Li? No,
We did not mention Jet Li.
Wasn't he named as one of the 3 samples, though?
Tony Jaa is the one that got named.
Oh. Well, I was thinking Jet Li, but I didn't say him, so. And I thought I said Tony Jaa. Well, I did, but I didn't know that they did.
They said it on the.
All right. Well, my favorite martial arts movie. If I thought about it, maybe I would have a different answer. But I think I gotta, for the time being, put me down for Bloodsport.
Okay, that's a good one.
It was very inspirational for me during my childhood. We used to mimic the dialogue of every character.
What about the dance moves?
I've seen Jean-Claude and Tony. What's Big Dude's name that play? He goes, Mate, Mr. Hong Kong. I think I heard he passed away recently, but
oh yeah, I know who you're talking about.
I'm blank. Wait.
Here, let me look it up. He just passed away, though. You're right. Donald Gilbert.
Chun Li was the character.
Oh, Bolo Young.
Bolo Young, yeah. Bolo Young. Anyway, I used to see him at Gold's Gym in Venice Beach, and I was just like, that dude is the man. I grew up watching Bloodsport. I think that inspired me more than any other martial arts movie, at least that I can think of. There was a lot of movies that maybe right after I watched it, I might have said, oh, this one's my favorite, like King of the Kickboxers or No Retreat, No Surrender, or No Retreat, No Surrender 2. They made a bunch of those. Super Fights, not really. That's co-starring RVD. Yeah, I'm gonna, until further notice, put me down as a Bloodman.
Blood. All right, there it is.
Yeah.
Mine would be Mortal Kombat, the original Mortal Kombat. I don't know if it's all good martial arts, but I like those movies. So.
Yeah, that's the thing, is I do like all the special effects and shit. That's one thing I liked about Avengers, which you can't really call that a martial arts movie, but it's an action movie. I just thought it was perfect. Like, I thought it had everything in it. The story, it was fucking funny, the script, and all the special effects and everything. Just that, I went and saw that by myself, the Avengers, at a theater, I remember, and I was just like, wow, like I wouldn't have one note on anything they could do better,
Yeah,
which for me to say I could do anything better than them, but I mean, even in my opinion, I was just like so blown away by the awesomeness.
Yeah,
and I was trying to think if there's a martial arts movie like that too, and I don't know, maybe the new Mortal Kombat movies are. I don't know.
Yeah, I know, it's interesting. They said there's a lot of blocking. There was too much blocking. Somebody said in the new Mortal Kombat movies. Right. And then when he said that, I was like, hey, he's right. I think there was a lot of blocking. But
it's more of an Eastern thing, though, right? Like when you watch Chopsaki Theater, and their sparring includes a lot of defending before they get one in.
Yeah, that's what it was like a lot, I think. Maddie says, my Jesus mate says we have a right. Oh, my Jesus mate says we have a right to remain silent. All right. I don't know what that means, Maddie, but peace be with you.
He is right, though. You have it's our Fifth Amendment is to the Constitution, is our right to remain silent and not say anything that can incriminate us. So when a cop pulls you over or just walks up to you or whatever, you really don't have to talk to them. But you are supposed to state that you're invoking your fifth. I see a lot of videos where they just don't talk to them at all. But and that seems to be fine on the videos. But I've watched a few lawyer videos that say that you should tell them, I'm not answering questions or I'm invoking, the fifth.
Amendment.
Because otherwise, I guess there's a loophole they can use if you don't invoke that and don't talk. I don't know what it is. Maybe it has something to do with them not knowing if you understand what they're saying or are coherent or can speak English or something. But I'm just guessing. I really don't know what the reason is. But anyway, yeah, he's right. And speaking of Jesus, as Maddie brought Jesus up, 2026, do you think, like I think, that in our society that we live amongst people where if somebody is to say, like, I don't believe in Jesus Christ, is that looked at as a bad thing, an indifferent thing, or a positive thing? Because I think that it's looked at by most people as a bad thing, because I think most people, at least I might be wrong, I know there's a lot of other religions in the world and stuff, but I think Christianity is up there. But I think, since he mentioned Jesus, I just think even in today's age, and I don't think moving forward it'll be like this. It might be 10 years, it might be 50 years, I don't know. But I think eventually it will just be something where some people believe in him, believe in Jesus, other people don't believe in Jesus, these people believe in something else. But I feel like right now it's something that, like, like most people would not say that publicly because it would come with shame, I think, unless that's just a bubble that I have never seen past.
So I think a lot of, from a societal standpoint and like pop culture and stuff like that, so for a while it feels like the world has become more secular, non-religious and stuff like that. And so I think in some manners it's been seen almost like as in an acceptable way to live life. And then I do think, though, I've kind of been hearing too that a lot of young people are going back to church or starting to go to church more and stuff like that. So I do think there is certain, so maybe it's coming back too in a good manner too. So maybe like a little, like, I think the thought process, like, be accepting of all creeds and religions and people that don't believe or anything like that. I think that was kind of more of the, what is it called? I guess a diverse acceptance of it all. But now I think too, like, I don't think it's looked at necessarily a bad thing still, but I think people are more accepting, or it's becoming to be more accepting to accept Christianity and embrace it a little bit more, and maybe speak out more about it too in certain ways. But I do think that it's still a very polarizing aspect, I think, of everything. That makes sense.
I mean, it's definitely more secular than it was. When you go back to just the 1900, early 1900s, around that time, like, everything was based on Christian beliefs, businesses were all run by that. Properties were maintained, cities were run completely with that in mind, Christianity. And it's not there anymore, but I'm just saying it's, now we're 126 years later, and I think it's moving slow enough to where I think, like, it should be something where everyone just accepts. But I don't know. I don't feel like it is. I think that, like, that people feel like they're doing something good if they speak for somebody and say, Dom's a God-fearing man. Dom loves Jesus. And you're, whether you said it or not, like, they think they think that just because you're a good guy, and so they think, well, of course he does. I do, so he does, or it's looked at as you need more Jesus in your heart. And I don't know, maybe it's just by the churchgoers, but I feel like overall that it feels like the majority of the people, and maybe it's just older people, but it feels like the majority of people still have those values within their grasp. The grasp? No, their grips.
Grasp.
Grasp. I put grasp and grips together. But
Yeah. Grasp and grisps.
yeah. Anyway, maybe it's just a silly thought, but he was mentioning Jesus, and I was just thinking, like, I don't know, you probably still get that edited in certain places if you say something. I grew up in a house where you can say anything, you can swear, but you can't say "God damn it."
Wow, yeah.
That was the word that was like, no.
Hey. Yeah.
Because I was taught that is saying the Lord's name in vain, right?
Yeah.
That's what I was taught. And that's a commandment. Thou shalt not say the Lord's name in vain. So you can't say something like that. But, if you say something like, I forgot to get her goddamn phone number. Is that really in vain? Or are you just saying it as an adjective and attaching it, to enunciate the extremity of your thought? You know what I mean? It's like, you're not really like screaming it like, it's one thing if you were like, I hate God, which I would expect a lot of people to have a problem with that. And more people actually than probably should, but it's not like that anyway.
Yeah. It's interesting. I'd have to look at what the definition of vain meant in that way. You know what I mean? Don't take the Lord's name in vain.
I said something in front of my mind. So the way I think like I'm one with the universe. And whenever something doesn't go my way, I feel like the universe is working against me. And then it seems to be appropriate that one of the first words coming out of my mouth is "God damn it." And I don't know why, but specifically I do that when the universe is working against me, especially if there's 2 or 3 things in a row. You know what I mean? Like say I drop a pen from my hand to the table, and then I go to get it, and then it drops on the floor, and then I bend down to get it, and I hit my head on the table or something. Like I take no accountability for that. Those are forces working against me. And something like that happened. I was a friend of my mom, and I was like, "Oh man, goddamn! This," and my mom and sister both really quiet. And then my mom was like, "I never heard you say that." And I was like, "What?" And they both had to convince me. I was like, "I did not say that." What? And I had to think about it. And I go, "I guess I did say it." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't have a problem saying that anymore." I think God, if there's a God, he's got busier things to do than be mad at me for throwing his name in when the universe is working against me, and I need it back. And then everything goes back to, the current, my Zen of currency that goes very much with the flow, know?
Mm-hmm. No, it's interesting. I was in the same way too. Like I made a habit of never saying, the Lord's name in vain or anything like that. And but it's kind of gotten in my vernacular a little bit. So I try to be a little bit mindful of it here and there, but that's just my values, I guess.
I was probably around someone that said it a lot. Probably Sabu.
Yeah, that could happen, right? That can definitely happen. Nelson Kelso, he's got your rib shot graphic for his image there. Nelson Kelso.
Oh, nice.
He says a bit of a rough night, but chilling with Dom and my fave Rob Van Dam. How can I not be balanced now, brothers? So glad I can hang with the whole effing show.
Nice. Right on, dude. Glad you're here.
Glad you're here. Glad we're a distraction for you. I hope we put you in a different mindset.
Our weekly social club.
That's it. Here we go. Maddie, $2. Thank you. He says, what ECW guys would you like to see a Dark Side episode on? We talked about this a while ago. I remember who you said.
Really?
Yep.
Well, one name that pops up in my head instantly, so I'll go ahead and say it. Chris Candido.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Did they do one on him?
No, I think they might have done something on Tammy, maybe.
Oh, maybe that's it. Let me look it up real quick.
The thing is with him, there's a lot that it'd be interesting to see what is uncovered with an investigation, because he did some drugs. He had that crazy relationship with her, and who knows what he knew about whatever was really going on with the whole time with that. And that would be very interesting to see, like, what all dude was going through in a 24-hour day, and fuck, that's so crazy that he ended up the way I understood it, he had knee surgery or something on his leg, right? And then flew, and they tell you not to fly after an operation. And yeah.
Wow. You know what he did? So this is funny, Rob. Not funny, but so when we started the podcast, it was May 23rd-ish. I think it was 23rd, 2023.
That's hilarious.
So what happened? So our second episode was about Sonny and Chris Candido, because they did do a dark side on Sonny and Chris Candido.
Okay.
So Tammy and Chris Candido. So it was the second episode, the season 4 premiere. It actually was. So, and yeah, I remember us talking about it back then. So they did do one. So I didn't watch it though. I haven't seen it.
I don't remember for sure, but it seems like I felt like they didn't go in deep enough at all, and didn't talk about a lot of stuff that they could have, and stuff I would like to have heard, but who am I? I mean, they got the privacy, I guess, but there was, like I said, there was a lot going on there.
A lot happening. Well, so we brought up before, yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would also like to know, I would like to see, and yeah, I actually, they wanted to do one, and his wife didn't want it. I think I don't know if they talked to her, if they went through Sean Stasiak, who had a relationship with the whole family, or both or whatever, but they, I can't remember how I was part of that, but they talked to me, and I thought, yeah, like, think about that. Like, when you get divorced, not only, it's almost always the female, the way it seems like the way that the laws are made, that gets to take everything, and that's the way the law looks at it, which is something that should be updated. That's like an old school, before equality, I guess. Just because you're making the money, and then they don't know how to make money, so you're supposed to take care of them. And if you're married long enough, you should take care of them for the rest of their fucking life. Why not? That's shouldn't. Divorce, by the way, used to be considered a horrible sin. Yeah, even like in the 20s, 30s, movie stars would go down to like Tijuana and shit. And then Vegas was always like easy divorce. That's how one of the things they used to promote the tourism here was easy marriage, easy divorce. First it was easy divorce, then easy marriage. But all right, anyway, we're all over the place. Mike Awesome. He was doing real estate. He lost a lot of weight. I didn't see him, but he told me. And he was looking for a house for me in the Florida area. I was at the time thinking that investing in houses and renting them out was a good way to make money, I thought. And I was looking into doing that. And I just know he loved his kids, loved his kids. So So I know it had to be her saying that she was going to stop him from seeing his kids somehow. And boom, he hung himself. And the crazy thing is, they say he hung himself by the shower spigot. Like, of all the things you could hang yourself from, right? Like, why that? And like, your feet are right there. You know, like it'd be so easy to stop at any point and just stand up.
Yeah. And he's a big dude.
And he's a big dude. Like I said, he lost some weight. But I think he was like, if I remember right, I thought he said like 230-ish, something like that, which is still heavy, but not my costume size. I can't remember how. Maybe he was even lighter than that. There was a time when I remember him saying he wasn't lifting weights. All he was doing was riding a bike. And I don't know for sure, but it seemed like he might have got down like maybe another 50 pounds under that from what he was saying. I remember thinking like, wow, like I weigh that much more than Mike Austin. It's crazy, but I know it's temporary too. And I don't know exactly if it was that much or if my mind says like 165, something like that. But I really don't know, and I didn't get to see him at that point. But to picture him at that weight, you know, it's pretty small, but still it's a lot to pull on a fucking shower spigot.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, man. Crazy. Yeah, he would be he's definitely tragic, obviously. Man. And yeah, we talked about him last week too, how he's such an underrated, I think the most underrated ECW wrestler. And but man, like so much potential, and it's just a bummer. It's a bummer for sure. Yeah. Maddie did say like why so many people crap on Mike Awesome. He was so epic. Yeah, I don't know if people necessarily crap on him though, right? I think everybody thinks he's a really good wrestler. I don't know if people crap on him.
The boys, I think, have respect for him. At least all the guys that I know. But when he went up to WCW, it's said that he was a joke to them, which could have been because he was ECW. Could have been he was a big guy that made the NWO guys insecure about their position. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, could have been a bunch of different ways to get heat there, but that they made him that 70s guy or whatever.
Yeah, it was bad.
I don't know.
He's like a fat chick. He liked fat chicks or something. That was another one. Yeah. Good gimmicks. Chris just says, great show, Mortal Kombat, LOL. So thank you.
Yeah, I know it was a cool game. I just didn't play it.
Yeah, no, it was a blast. All right, Triple E says this. Y'all see Villa Fatu NXT debut, Umaga's son, the one true heir to the tribal throne. Y'all see Spider-Man Brand New Day or X-Men 97 Season 2 or Spider-Noir. I saw Spider-Man movie. I liked it.
I saw Spider-Noir.
Did you like it?
I did. I thought it was really interesting. Nick Cage is this Spider-Man detective character. It's very noir, I think there's 2 syllables in there, but nowhere. But anyway, I like that time period too. But I liked it. It was a complete, different universe that, it doesn't go with anything as far as continuity goes or anything.
Yeah, it's a different universe, all that stuff.
Entertaining. I liked it. And I didn't see the rest. Spider-Man's new, right?
Yeah, that new Spider-Man. It was pretty good. I have
right now?
Yeah, it's in the theater right now. It's like I think it's like supposed to be one of the biggest movies like of the summer of all time or something. How much money it's drawn. It's crazy amount of money.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I saw something on Instagram about Zilla Fatu hit NXT or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it didn't really stand out as much as you bringing it to my attention like that, because sometimes I'm just flipping through and I'm like, I don't know what Samoan that is. I don't want to stop and think about it. So I'm glad you made me, realize that's Umaga's son, and I'll watch for him.
Yeah, I'll keep my eyes peeled too. I didn't know till Maddie or Triple E said this earlier on my other show too, that Zilla showed up, and I had no idea. So I'll have to keep tabs on it for sure. Cool. Maddie says, I think Jesus would smoke weed with us. I think he would have too.
He definitely looks like a hippie.
Yeah. I don't think he would have judged on that one for sure. He would have smoked.
I think I might have told you this before, but hopefully you forgot and we'll think it's funny again. But one thing that I can never forget, once I read this, it was a post on Instagram, and it said, Jesus gave his life for us. And then it said, but not really, because he came back like 2 or 3 days later. So really, Jesus gave up like his weekend for you.
I don't remember you telling me that. That's funny though.
I can never not forget that. Every time I think of Jesus and the story of him, I think about that. He gave up a weekend. Yeah. It's true.
That's good. I like it. Maddie, we'll close out with this, and then Rob's got something to show us all too. So Maddie says this: what's Rob's 7 moves you shouldn't do in wrestling on TV? 7 moves.
That's a lot, dude.
That is a lot. Maybe let's do 3. How about 3?
And what are they that you shouldn't do?
That you shouldn't do in wrestling on TV. 7 moves or 3.
Oh, I got you. Okay. The weed whacker slice to the forehead.
Oh yes, that's a good one.
Yeah. The tied up 6-pack of tubular light bulbs to the nuts, while your legs are spread open and you're laying on your back on a bunch of spikes and thumbtacks.
Oh, you're giving me the willies with that one. That's 2.
Yeah. And Spanish fly.
That's a good one. All right. Thanks, Maddie. Frankie said Jesus' first miracle was turning water into wine. Oh, that was it too. Yes. I remember that.
Yeah.
Turning water into wine.
That was really nice of him.
Yes.
So I guess that means that he's not one necessarily for sobriety in the essence that I thought. Like I thought before, when it comes to medicating or getting high, like, look, I smoked 2 doobies back to back. I must be trashed.
You are fucking high as a kite, Rob.
I can't even remember what I was talking about. Who are you? I have thought this before. Not that I probably had the actual argument or conversation with anybody, but I've thought before that if somebody wanted to argue about sober life versus an altered sense life, I always thought I could understand. Just like when I said, I got Roger's back. What I meant was, maybe that would be a do-over. I don't know, but what I meant was, I can see why he did what he did, and I could tell his defense from that position. I'm not saying I would have. In fact, I wouldn't have made the same decisions. I would have smacked Stu right when he fucking hit me in the head. At least I hope so. Otherwise, I would have been stewing over Stu. I would have been like, fuck, I should have hit him. Why did I spoil him? Or just like he was, But anyway, I thought before that if you wanted to argue against sober living from a religious point of view, then you could say you were born sober. That's the way that Jesus God meant for you to be, and that if you take drugs or you're medicated, you alcohol, weed, whatever, if it's an altered sense of conscious, then that's the devil's way, because it's pulling you away from your sober connection with God. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay,
It does.
that's what I thought about the way that it works with religion. But now I'm thinking, if he made water into wine, then maybe he's okay with the elevation of your spiritual vibration, which provides a different and maybe more secure kind of connection with the deities. And who knows? But that's definitely wine isn't something you take to be more sober.
Right. Yeah, you definitely don't do that. That's for sure. That's interesting. No, that's a really good different vibration going on when you're drinking or getting high or whatever in comparison to being sober. So,
Indeed.
all right, Rob, you have something really, really cool to show us this week.
I do. It's a 5-star piece of history. You got to put our graphic up.
Got to put that graphic up.
Come on, producer.
5-star history.
Where's our music?
I need
Sing
music
something.
still.
Hum something.
5-star history. What's that?
Okay.
That's good.
So, if you're new to the show, you should know. Before I go, I save everything. I got contracts from my whole career and different kind of shit, and I've been unpacking some boxes lately. So every week I'm introducing a little piece of history and talking about it, and it's been really fun so far. I don't know if you guys are having as good a time as me. By the way, Saba is doing that now, and it's freaking people out. And somebody where she gets watched said that she's hyperventilating, and I had to tell Katie it's not hyperventilating. She just does that because it's fun, you know. And she'll do that, and it's cool how like they go through different stages that are just like automatic. And if we didn't have 2 at a time, then I wouldn't know that that's every baby. I might think that's just something weird that my one baby is doing, Karma right now is in a rolling phase, and she won't quit rolling. When Katie's trying to change her diaper or feed her, she's rolling all over the place. So, and we got to make sure she doesn't like roll off the couch or something like that. They both do this thing. They just started doing it within the last week, where they move their mouth, but no words are coming out. They look at you and go. It's so fucking funny when you're not expecting it.
Yeah, I bet.
I asked Alexa if that was normal, and it is. They're feeling their mouth out. They're getting used to, they might do baby sounds with it, or they're practicing whatever. And then Alexa said, "Would you like to hear about other steps your babies will be going through?" And I thought about it for a quick second. I was like, no, like I love being surprised by these things. They're fucking hilarious. I don't want to know. I know eventually they're going to be trying to crawl, but every little thing that one of them does, like, why are you doing sit-ups now? And then it's like, oh, they're both doing sit-ups. And then, that's just something babies do after a while of laying down. They start doing sit-ups, and it's fucking funny as hell.
That is really funny.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, what I got here is a letter to me, and it's from my old boss at ECW. During this time, which specifically is December 30th, 2000, if you check the story calendar, this was the time when ECW was about to fold and RVD had stepped aside. So they ran a couple of shows without me. I came back for one big show which, if you remember, I wrestled Jerry Lynn. I had the tiger striped outfit. I was jacked. Just came back from Thailand shooting Black Mask 2. And as the story goes, and I've told this many times, I made a deal to come back for that one show. And part of the deal was that I had to have more money. Another part was I said that it had to be cash. And then when I was there, and Paul gave me a check, he famously, when I said, we said cash, you said you were going to have cash for me. He famously said, I didn't know you meant cash. This is during that period. And because of this, and a little bit of a memory, when I said that I needed cash, just because this is my stupid sense of humor, I obviously said, I'm not going to take a check. I expect you to be shoving cash in my jockstrap, which I know it sounds stupid, and it is, but I can tell from his response that that's what I said.
Yeah.
Okay. So
do you want me to pop up the first part of it, Rob? On screen? Okay.
Yeah, and I'll skim through it. You guys can, whatever. Oh my God, I could never fucking read that. But anyway, oh yeah, that's better. Okay, so he's going through some ideas for that last pay-per-view. He says they've been shooting something. They've been shooting something where Jerry Lynn's asking fans, "Who's your favorite wrestler?" And the kid, he's getting the response RVD, and it's pissing him off, and so he's getting more mad. And then blah blah blah. Cyrus, if you remember, that was Don. What's Don's last name?
Don Callis.
Don Callis was Cyrus. He was a heel manager, and so he managed Rhino. Maybe he managed Jerry in this last one. I'm not really sure. But Lynn wrestles York. A few people in the front row chant "New effing show." Lynn goes off on them. Don't scream. Don't jump on my bandwagon now. Where were you when I was beating his ass? And Joey says, this guy has been stirred up by Cyrus. That's Joey Styles, fucking A, favorite call it action guy. Gertner says he has a reason to be bitter. He scored 2 wins over Van Dam, but he never eclipsed Van Dam's stardom. He never got to be as big a star as RVD. All right, so we see where it's going. And then the angle set for Jerry Lynn versus RVD. The people will eat it up. Must be karma. We did the 2 bits, the kid and the commentary. Everyone's been looking at me cross-eyed, but I think we can really, that's him talking. Everyone's looking at me cross-eyed, but I think we can really do something special with this. It would be my opinion to have a series of Angle All Night with Jerry and Cyrus and Bill T and Jerry to close the show and go out for the wild brawl involving Rhino, just an opinion. So, I don't even remember if we used to get these like every time on the TV or if he was just doing that towards the end. But if you remember, he was trying to get a TV deal. Mm-hmm. And during this time, we'd been having the meetings. We're going to get USA or we're going to get CBS or Fox, whatever. And then that was holding a lot of us on. But like I said, I had left, gone to Thailand to shoot this movie. And now I'm going to come back in just for this last show. So Paul goes on to say, I'm sure Michael Meltzer has kept you appraised. Michael Meltzer was my manager at that time. Oh. He was a Hollywood guy, but I brought him in when I started working WWE. I don't think I still had him. No, I didn't still have him I have no idea why he said that, because I definitely didn't still have him in 2000. Wait. No, I did. I went to WWE in 2001, which was after this. Okay.
Oh.
So he was my Hollywood manager when I moved out to California. And I brought him in on the WWE signing contract in 2001 because I wanted a buffer. I thought that I was going to need one. I ended up resenting that I had to pay 10%, because that ended up being one day out of every 2 weeks that I was flying, driving somewhere, working somewhere, spending the day on the road to pay him. And he couldn't do anything for me anyway. And so, anyway, that didn't really last, but he was a nice guy. And a manager's job is to set up meetings with agents and to counsel. And so that's what managers do in the Hollywood world. And anyway, he says we've been working on several deals that will elevate all our problems and get us back on track. Actually, better than back on track. This is Paul talking to me.
Yeah.
And by the way, I wouldn't show this, except I'm sure Paul don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
It's, it's entertaining.
It's 26 years old, too.
Stay with me. Yeah. And he's probably told this story, too, because people ask me enough about it. But he says there are several things going on in each deal. Off the record, all deals being worked on would include, number one, pay off debt of and bringing back of RVD. That's number one. Okay. Number two, pay off debt of everyone else. Number two. Okay. Number three, acknowledgement of all existing deals. I don't even sound like Paul anymore. No contract. No contracts get cut. Acknowledgement of all deals. That's number three. Number four, Paul Heyman, asshole. He actually wrote that in parentheses. Retains all creative control. Number five, Steve Carroll and company will be removed and replaced. This must be kept off record. Rob, it will affect our ability to pay off the debts and go forward if word gets out prematurely. Okay, Steve Carroll was the guy we would call him Smiley, because he was a business guy. I think he was an investor, and he would walk around in a suit towards the end of ECW and not talk to the boys at all, and just look at all of us like we were just assets. And call him Smiley. If you read Todd Gordon's book, Todd is God, you can learn a lot more about Steve Carroll and his position that I didn't understand was happening at the time. Okay, wow. Number six, a network deal and staffing to support show promotion, marketing, etc. All right. This is what we've been working on. As I hope Michael has told you, there are 3 real deals on the table. 2 are moving forward and our past, and what the fuck? 2 are moving forward and are past the stage we were at with USA. And no, USA is not one of the options. Call me. I know I missed your call before, but I was around people and would like to keep this absolutely quiet. Best personal regards, Paul Heyman. P.S. Is there a way I can get you cash and not have to put it in your jockstrap? I would be more comfortable with an alternative arrangement. So there you go. He said cash. I said cash. And then he said, I didn't know you meant cash.
Cash.
That's when we thought we were getting a TV deal, moving forward. And that would have been awesome for ECW. How long would it have lasted, though? Can't imagine. Because thinking about it being around now, there's just no way. There'd be like way more lawsuits than there ever were. Yeah.
Do you think, Paul, though, he would have been able to navigate those waters, understand that, I got to make the adjustments? Or do you think it would have been like something would have gone too far and then you guys would have been taken off the air or something at some point in time?
I think with the right partners, I think that Paul is a smart enough businessman to know that part of growth includes delegating a lot of times. And so if he would have had the right partners do the right things, then but it would have had to change so much to still be around now and be.
Oh, yeah.
You couldn't like set fans on fire and fucking dive out on top of them and fucking remember last week we were talking about that I showed you for 5 Piece of History. Matter of fact, the lawsuit where I grabbed that kid's shirt and like he sued WWE and ECW and they both paid him.
Yeah. Crazy.
Afterwards, I was thinking about it, and I seen that kid at a show in Newark, I think, somewhere in New Jersey. I think it was Newark. And after that, and he had a sign that said, "I sued RVD and won," and he brought that to the show.
What a sign! Oh my God!
One of those.
Was that not long after that, or was that like years?
Yeah, no, it was within a couple months.
Oh, okay.
That's one of those thoughts where I said, like afterwards, I always think of why didn't I say this?
Yeah. Man, that's pretty awesome. Like, what a neat piece of history that is, actually, and just kind of. And it's funny too how Paul wrote that out. Like, it's just the style, like not using like proper capitalization, but then like sense of humor in it all too at the same time.
Yeah.
It's a unique piece to have. Neat stuff, Rob. That's awesome.
Yeah, I thought y'all get a kick out of it. I've told the story so many times to him saying, I didn't know you meant cash.
Cash.
Here I have it written down. Is there a way I can get you cash? Not have to put it in your jockstrap. By the way, I don't wear a jockstrap. I just thought that was funny. And don't be looking at my dick.
Don't be. Come on, everybody. All right. No dick watching here. Okay.
Cool. Well, that's this week's 5-star piece of history.
5-star history. Well, we're working on that. We're workshopping that. Figure out a song, a jingle, a 5-star jingle.
Rib shot.
Ooh, yeah, rib shot.
Ooh. Dude, that could be cool, man.
Could be very cool. Very cool. Well, this was cool, man. We went all 2.5 hours almost, Rob. This is one of our longer episodes. So
damn.
Thanks.
Long show.
Long ass show.
Thanks for staying with us, everybody.
Yes.
Too Cooley Fooly. Dude, it's great. They were in Battle Creek and around Michigan promoting it like Rob was going to be there. Oh, I'm not sure. Oh, they're talking about ECW. That's right. I guess I don't remember that happening, but I remember hearing that ECW ran Battle Creek without me. Oh, I do fucking remember now. Because I was like, they know I'm not going to fucking be there. Like, why aren't they telling the people? I do remember that happening. So I always say I don't remember what shows they ran without me, but I do remember hearing that, though. And I do remember it happening, but man, just faintly. But I remember that I was considering, I was like, I got to draw the line somewhere, And then I was like, boom, I'm going to draw the line here. And then I found out like it was going to be Battle Creek afterwards. Maybe I thought he was going to give me money if I held him up and didn't come to Battle Creek. I don't remember, but I think it ended up being the same time that I was in Thailand shooting that movie. So that would have sucked. And that has happened a couple times in my career. Not that often though, where two things are booked on the same day. One of them was the match that I had in Tokyo at the Budokan with Phil, Danny Crawford. That match actually at the same time, Seasonal Films wanted me to come in and to film a movie. And Seasonal Films, we talked about them earlier because they made No Retreat, No Surrender. And they made Black Eagle. They made Jean-Claude Van Damme's first few movies, and other movies too. But No Retreat, Jason, No Retreat, No Surrender. I didn't want to turn that shit down, and I wanted to do the movie, but I had this match coming in Japan, which was a sure thing. And ever since I first started working for Baba, the number one thing everybody in the business told me was that he's honest. You don't ever have to worry about being screwed by him. Everybody told me that. Yeah. And we used to get paid, by the way, on the very last day at the Budokan. We would get paid with a stack of cash in brand new hundreds. Don't know why, but that's the way we always got paid in Japan. And so we'd go home with a stack of brand new from the government. Never folded fucking money. But anyway, Giant Baba. What was I talking about? Nothing.
Well, he was a good promoter, and that was always reliable. You could trust him.
It wasn't that. It was something before that led to Baba. But I said something happened a couple times. Okay. So anyway, sorry, I'm back on track. I turned the movie down and went with Baba, and I wrestled that match, and it was really good for my career. And after that, Baba had Dory tell me, just pick whatever tours I wanted to be on. They do 5 tours a year. Pick whatever I want. And when I asked him for a raise, I asked him a couple of times. He said, just ask him what will make him happy, And so Baba was always super cool to me. That's all I can say was much respect. I did the wrestling tour. I came back, and then Seasonal Films, Keith Strandberg, ended up reaching out to me and saying, hey, we want to know if you can come just hang out the last couple of days that we're shooting, and we'll try to find a part for you. And I said, I can't fly there and just hang out if I'm not getting paid for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so from that, they ended up agreeing to pay me, flew me in, and then while I was there, and they're finishing up, and they're just doing a bunch of fight scenes to add into super fights, they ended up just creating my part, and what else can you do? And so I did spots. I was doing wrestling. I did like a fucking leg sweep, boom, on the guy, and then turn into a back, standing moonsault gimmick, bam, and they're like, whoa, awesome, and they would do that, and had a great time. And then afterwards, they were like, we really want you to be in our next movie, which was Blood Moon. So fucking that's what ended up happening. I turned it down, and then turned down working for free, and then fucking it all came through and kind of started my fabulous movie career. That was way back in 96 or 97 when I did Blood Moon.
Wow. How about that? Wait, so what did you have a bit part in the first film that you were supposed to be in then?
So that was Super Fights.
That was
And,
super cool.
yeah, and so I don't know which part they were going to have me play. I don't remember if I knew that or if they told me or not. I don't remember because I didn't do that part. So, but they really wanted me in the movie bad enough to bring me in and pay me and then work me in. And what happened actually, there was a really big dude, bald, really big dude. And I was in the ring with him, and he also was training with the Samoans. They were teaching him pro wrestling up there in Allentown.
Yeah.
And so he knew a little bit of wrestling. And they were like, what else can you do? What else can you do? And I was like, oh, and I would do something. And they're like, whoa, I don't know if you know, but when you shoot a movie, Perry said he hated it. Perry Saturn hated being on the wrestling movie for this reason. But when you do something, you got to do it over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
That's all part of it. I want to get from every angle and every lighting and all kinds of shit, and then do it with sound and not sound and whatever the fuck. And that's just part of it. But anyway, that first day that I flew in and that they paid me, and then in the morning they brought me into the ring to see what I could do. They ended up canceling the whole rest of the day for everybody else, and was just working with me all the way till closing, because the guy that was Tony Leung, who was the fight coordinator, liked me so much. All the other guys that were bigger stars of the movie, had bigger parts. They all stood around in wardrobe and makeup like this, just watching me in the ring, just hoping that they would get called down. But sometimes it'd be that way.
Yeah, right. Wow, that's crazy though. I had no idea. That's really neat. Man, starting off the movie career of Rob Van Dam.
Yeah.
How about that? All right. Man, covered a lot of great ground. Man, we covered cops. We talked about martial arts movies. We talked about religion. We talked about your contract and plenty of other ground too. It's been quite the show.
You should write down each subject and then go through it at the end.
I know, right? What we all covered. I will start doing that. That's a good idea. I like it.
There's one guy I did an interview with, and his podcast was about energy and karmic ways of life, and I was like, that's cool, I'm sure I can hang with that. And at the end of it, like whatever he went through and wrote, like he I think he connected what I said to emotions and wrote down an emotion for each story or whatever that I told him, and at the end, like totally unexpected, he just said, so this is what I learned today about you, and he went through all this stuff, and said, you seem to be laid back, and really you just want to, be passive and peaceful, and you don't enjoy confrontation, but when it's there, you're ready. I don't know what he said, I'm fucking just, for example, but he went through and I was like, wow, that's a really cool, thoughtful thing to do, like especially if he saves them for all the celebrities. But I don't know, I don't remember what he said, so I had to bullshit.
Well, that's a neat
you have to call me out in front of all my fans, dude.
Damn, I'm sorry, I had to, man. I am. This is how I do things.
Cool.
Cool, man. Well, this was good stuff. Yeah. Do you want to plug anything?
No, we're good. We'll be back next week. Not necessarily same bat time or bat channel. Don't know if that matters.
Nope.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out one way or another. But thank you all for joining in with all the great super chats and a lot of good new faces I'm seeing in the chat too. So awesome to see that as well. And we'll be back next week with that fellow right there. That's Mr. Rob Van Dam. Rob Van Dam.
RVD. Wait, that's not what that says.
Those are
ROB. Oh my God, that works too.
That does. Let's change it, Rob. One of a kind with ROB.
Yeah. All right. Peace out, host. Thanks for